Hi, welcome back to part two with Fanny Bruiser. And we're going to get to know her as her pinup name. This is how I met her was at this year's 2020 Detroit Autorama. And I am still infatuated with her. We've been talking now for probably over an hour or something.
Oh, it's been a good couple hours.
Yeah, it's been like a couple hours, and I literally was like, "Oh, we're gonna take a little break," and now it's been 2 hours later. So obviously, as you can see, she is an awesome chick because I can talk to her forever, and that's always a plus. So I'm just gonna ask her a few things about her pinup life and how she got started. And my favorite question is to ask all the ladies are, how did you come up with your pinup name? So, Fanny Bruiser, how did you become Miss Fanny Bruiser?
so, I used to run with a group of girls, and we went to different clubs and bars and motorcycle events, and we ran a spanking booth, and the girls, because my name is Stephanie, they called me Fanny anyway because Stephanie Fanny, and then I got to run.
She's got a
So
nice booty.
it's juicy.
It's a juicy booty.
So Fanny started there, and then from the spanking booth, one event in Hell, Michigan, we were running the booth, and a guy came back in the morning, and his butt was black and blue, and the girls were like, "Fanny Bruiser!" So Fanny Bruiser was born in Hell, Michigan.
I love it. In Hell, Michigan, Fanny Bruiser was born. There's some lucky man out there that got his ass all dyed up by her.
Oh goodness, he loved that.
I love it. I think out of all the names I've heard, yours is one of the most unique ones have stuck out to me.
Oh, thank you.
So I love your name. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love the fact that it actually means like it actually came because of the way it came. It means it was unique and it was honest. Hi.
He's all
um,
clean and showered now. He's a
so,
handsome man.
so my other question is, what attracted you to the pinup world?
Well, I started to hear about it, 11 years ago now. I started to hear about it, but it was more like in California, like over that side of the U.S. And like, man, that's kind of cool. And then a tattoo parlor around me, Almighty Tattoo, they started holding little competitions, and that's how I got started. They did little one-night competitions, and then they did a 10-night competition, and I ended up second place in that. And everything that I started wearing then, I didn't know about Pug or Vixen or any of those. So I started looking, I went online and started looking at the fashions of the eras that I was trying to portray. And thrift has been a lot of my pinup. I found a lot of things, and I gained a lot of knowledge trying to differentiate true vintage rather than reproductions. But like as we said, we're a little curvier than the ladies of yesteryears.
Yep.
And a lot of the true vintage does not fit me.
She's trying to be nice to say that we have more hips than ass and boobs.
Oh, yeah.
Just in case nobody picked up on that.
So I was in that 10-night competition, and I ended up second place with that, and then that's really where my pinup career started.
Wow. So we talked about, you said how like you figured out what era you like. So what is your favorite era? What is your all-time, like, if you were like, I look great in these clothes, I feel sexy, I feel good, what would that be?
That would be obviously a modern pinup. I do carry old school values and like vintage values, vintage outlook, and I would, in a perfect world, I would love to be that housewife that is done up all, every day, and everything is prepared, and the husband is a breadwinner, and that I know, but that's the era that I love the most. But with the tattoos and the gauged ears and different colored hair and things, piercings, it's hard for me to enter complete vintage shows and that. And I feel like the colors and the patterns, the cuts of things nowadays really fit me better. Once in a while I can find a true vintage thing or a really good reproduction that fits me, and then I do feel comfortable, but I still feel different with the tattoos and the piercings, and there are a lot of times that I felt like I might want to cover them up, and I would want like the tattoo covering makeup and things, because you do see a lot of the girls in the vintage shows that don't have these things and stuff, and people that look like me don't get chosen in those contests.
Really?
Yes. And that's kind of why I started doing my own pinup contests to include curvier women with colored hair, women with tattoos, the more modern rockabilly things. But I've held quite a variety of shows now, and but I like to be inclusive so that way nobody feels left out. But
yeah, no, that's amazing. I knew you had tattoos, but I feel like everybody so far is very tatted. So far, from what I've seen. I'm a baby pinup, so.
And that's only been in the last couple of years. That's only been in the last couple of years. More and more, yeah.
And see, I did not know that. I thought that was just like, I thought that was actually part of the attraction, was that, you're able to have your tattoos, have your unique hairstyles, have that.
It didn't used to be, because the typical pinup is this big, from years ago, this big, porcelain skin, no tattoos, no piercings, nothing, because that's what the original pinups looked like.
Right.
And if we were trying to strive to be that, you know what I mean, then you wouldn't have the tattoos and piercings and things. But you are seeing over the last few years, you are seeing more and more girls, embracing themselves, their sizes, their shapes, their artwork, their modifications, and it is becoming more well known and accepted.
Yeah, that's okay. So you taught me something today, because since I am so new, I mean, I knew what the classic pinup looked like, because of course everybody has Google, everybody's seeing what like the classic pinup looks like. Everybody knows like Marilyn Monroe, and people know like what the classic pinup beauty look like. So when I started thumbing through like Facebook and like other competitions, and I saw these women that were short, tall, big, skinny, white, black, purple, pink. I was like, oh my God, they're like so accepting of everyone, of everything. So to hear that this is actually a newer thing, that it wasn't always like that, is actually very informing, because I did not know that.
Yeah, like some of the smaller shows were, the more local shows were okay. We were okay with that, but like the bigger shows, and there's even some like, there's one, and I can't remember where it is, but there is one that is complete vintage. And so we have to, even though we want to participate in it, and it would still be fun to do and go to and just support your girls, but we automatically know that someone that looks like me probably would not place. So they do look for a vintage. They don't look for a rockabilly. They don't look for, the modern pinup. They do look for a vintage look.
So how does that, I mean, I know like this is kind of like a loaded question, because if I enter a competition for the best blue hair, well, of course, one of the criteria would be to have blue hair. So for you, since you have been in this lifestyle for many moons now, when you see a competition that's so in the box, do you feel like that is okay, or do you feel like they need to broaden their horizon?
A little of both, because it is 2020, and we don't look like that anymore. But it is there, if they are putting on a car show that it is restores that are, the cars are complete restores, no fabrication, or well, not fabrications, but no customs. You know what I mean? If they're doing a show like that, then they probably have a right to be like, to pick a representative like that. But I do feel that it should be like you said, broaden their horizons, because we don't all look like that anymore.
Yeah.
And
that would be my only thing, because even though for someone like me, I have 7 tattoos. They're pretty modest. But my thing would be, since when I do Google, even if I did it right now today, I won't see a lot of people that just look like me.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean being like African American. Now,
Mm-hmm.
I know there were African American people during that time frame, so
Mm-hmm.
I know
Mm-hmm.
that we fit the bill in the sense that we have vintage looks and we have vintage
Mm-hmm.
style, and we had our own unique hairstyles and the way that we dress in
Absolutely.
our
Mm-hmm.
culture. But I would feel intimidated a little
Mm-hmm.
bit to want to participate in that, even if I did
Mm-hmm.
say true vintage,
Mm-hmm.
because unfortunately that's not what is more,
Right.
shown.
Yeah. And and this one specifically that I'm thinking of is one that a lot of my girlfriends do. And I've never done it because of that reason, because I didn't think that I would do so well. But
I think
it
you
is,
should do it.
that's what I was saying. It's not about how well you're going to do. And now, for
Yeah.
us, it's about
Because
all of us
what if
being
they
together.
see you, Fanny, and then from that point on, they're like, you know what?
Mm-hmm.
We should be more
Mm-hmm.
open to like people with tattoos or people with different colored hair,
Mm-hmm.
or not this big, and
Yeah.
maybe that is what it takes. It takes one person to be like,
To change their mind.
I'm just gonna do it.
Mm-hmm.
If I win, I win. If I don't, I don't. I still have fun doing it.
And that's pretty much the attitude that we have anymore with the group that we have in Michigan is, everyone, we just like to see each other. We just like to get all done up and okay, yeah, we're cool. We're at the show together. All right, let's go eat somewhere. Let's go, grab a drink. Let's whatever. Let's just hang out. That's what we like to do. Anything, or more of anything now.
It's just the socialization and hanging out and having fun.
Mm-hmm. Rather than just focusing on just competing alone.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I have to say, even though the 2 competitions I competed in, even though I did well, I did not even take away the fact that I placed. It was the fact that I met all these wonderful people, and like you being one of them. And the fact that I've now opened myself up to a whole nother community of people that I would have never met probably on a regular given day.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I have girls now that if I'm having a day, because I went through several groups of friends that, when you find out who they are, you meet new people and you're like, oh yeah. And then, after a little bit, you're like, whoa, okay, maybe I shouldn't be around these people. I don't really like what they're doing. Yeah. But these girls in the pinup scene, it's like, I've met girls that I can call anytime or message anytime and be like, man, I'm having a day, and we'll talk on the phone, or they'll just take 5 minutes out of their day and they'll make sure that, they just chat with you for a minute and you're good. So we have a really good group in Michigan now, and I'm proud to be a part of it.
Well, that's awesome. My next question kind of is about that. So I know what I fell in love with the whole pinup thing. But when you think back to your first few interactions with this new lifestyle, what was it that was like, yep, this is for me. This is for me.
I think, like I said earlier about finding yourself after divorce, that really helped me figure out who I was. I really enjoyed dressing up and, going on these little treasure hunts for specific items, and then learning. I love to learn, as you can see from my books,
Yes.
that I read a whole lot, but I like to learn about new things and learning about how to spot vintage things, and that was a lot of it for me. And then, of course, being on stage and, just being this, it's just so much fun to me, and seeing other girls succeed, and just the dress up part of it, I think is a lot of it, and collecting different things and gosh, I don't know, just the joy you get from, you know, being on stage and being with a group of girls on stage or off stage, you know, with a group of girls that are awesome. So I think that's really what appealed to me.
So far, everything sounds so like magical and
Oh,
great.
totally.
So there's always got to be some bad stuff to everything. Just like there's
Absolutely.
positive, there's your negative. So
You know,
let's dive into a little bit of the negative. What would you say was a negative experience that you had?
So I struggled with and I did take a year off. I struggled with being a poor loser. You know, and it's hard and it's humbling, but you know, you're like, man, I was dressed better than her. I did better than her on stage. How did they not pick me? Right. But and that's how we've evolved into, you know, I just love to see the other girls succeed, and we just all like to get together and have fun. But that was one of the negatives. And when I started, everyone was, like I said before too, they were quite catty and just would talk bad about each other and things, which I'm sure that still happens. And I do hear about a lot of things because if people bring a lot to me, and I'm like, man, I don't know, I haven't heard of that. I'm sorry, you know, but this is what I can say. This is the advice I can give. But that was part of the downfall, you know, or like the negativity part of it was just that people were just kind of nasty. But then with me being a poor loser, I just realized it was only me feeling that way, you know, because that's a hard part of it too, is when you're at shows and people come up to you, you should have won. You should have won. Oh my God, we were voting for you. You should have won. That girl sucked. And, you know, and you just have to take it in stride and be like, thank you. You know, I appreciate your support. Thank you so much. You know, I appreciate your words. And then that is emotionally draining too.
Yeah.
Because
every time they say it too, you start questioning yourself, like,
why didn't I?
Why didn't I? Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, why didn't I place? Why didn't I, you know, this, but maybe I should have done this differently. Maybe I should. And there's no reason to, you know, beat yourself up about it. Either you did or you didn't. Yeah. And now, like I said, I just focus on, you know, supporting my girls and just having a good time. And I look all good when I'm dressed up. And I got my
right? So that is actually a really good point. That I'm glad that you brought that up, because once again, Fanny Bruiser is a little bit of a vet in this, and I'm a rookie. So for myself, I actually experienced exactly what she's talking about, where, you know, I came in second, and a lot of people are like coming up to me afterwards and saying like, oh, you should have won, and blah blah blah. And in my mind, every time they said that, I was just like, well, I don't understand why you. I almost want to be like, well, why? Because I'm the opposite. I was like, because they said something way better than I said. They looked way better than I did.
Great. I don't know.
Yeah, like I sucked. Like I stuttered. I had like a stank eye for half of the time. Like, you know, I actually pick apart myself and beat up myself. Yeah. So when people do that, it actually, I know that they think they're being nice and like trying to give you confidence, but actually it kind of makes you feel insecure, because then in my mind I'm like, oh, no.
Yeah. And then you go home and luckily if someone has watched a video or if someone has taken a video, then you can watch yourself. But I tell the girls to do that. I'm like, watch yourself. See how your movements were. See how your facial expressions were. See how your confidence was. Use that as a learning tool. That way, you know, maybe next time, you know, you can do a little better. Because that's ultimately what we're trying to do. We're trying to be a little bit better every time and bring home them crumbs, you know. But
it was great this year at World of Wheels 2020. The person who won, I love her, and it was her 5th time competing, and she was like, well, maybe the 5th time's a charm. And when they called her name, even though I wanted to win, of course, everybody wants to win. Everybody wants the shiny, sparkly crown. Everybody wants to wear the sash. Nobody comes there saying like, I hope I don't win. That's crazy talk.
Right.
But as soon as she like won,
Mhm.
She was so incredibly happy.
Mhm.
Like, even now, I get emotional for her because she was so happy. Like, I couldn't have been even as happy as she was if I would have won. Like, it was just a genuine, like,
Yeah.
I did it, and I was
And
so happy for her. Like,
exactly. And with, like with the workshops that I host, I'm like, I mean, I just want you guys to do so good, and some of the girls that have been attending have started winning crowns. So I'm like, oh my God, I'm so happy for them. That's what I want.
it's like being a proud mama and like
Yes,
watching your babies like
yes,
grow.
because for so long we kept all this information to ourselves. Like I was telling you earlier, you never shared anything, you never helped anybody out. You were for yourself because you wanted to win, which is fine, but now it's like, I've experienced so much and I've gained so much knowledge that I can't hold it back anymore, and so we have these workshops and we all talk together. I'm not just standing up there talking because that gives me a lot of anxiety. And then a lot of the girls that come are already doing a lot of things that I teach. So, or not teach, but you know what I mean.
While you're on
Um,
your subject, promote your workshops. What are they
uh,
or where they
yeah.
held?
Well, actually, my workshops that I've been hosting are in Gaines, Michigan. And I just call them workshops because I like to have an open forum because I feel like we all have something to learn from each other. And we all got these little tips and tricks,
Oh, the
and we have,
wisdom.
yes, and we do a swap. So we set up tables and you can swap or sell. So, because you collect so many things, over the years. And so like, anyone who's just like, oh, I think I might want to do this. Oh, come to this, because, we can hook you up with, gosh, you can get an outfit, you can get some gloves, you can get some pearls, you can get so many different things. And then from what you learn from all the other girls, from all of our input, you know what I mean? It's priceless. And then we just hang out and we just have a good time. And
Party.
it is. And then, like I said, I always have a photographer. So if no one has had a photo shoot before, then they can take a little time, and the
That's
photographers I
really
have are,
cool.
yeah, so they can have something to submit to contests or to magazines if they
Unlike
feel
my black and white high school pose.
yeah. So I like to provide that for girls, and it's affordable. And like this one, we were going to do in April. I've had to postpone it right now, but it was going to be working on bios because bios, and even though I've been doing it all this time, bios are still the worst to do.
It's hard because you have to make them short and sweet, but like pack a lot of information in them.
Exactly. And I don't really like to boast or talk about myself a lot. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I like to stay humble. So I don't like to talk about myself a lot. So that's what we were going to do which we are still going to do when we're released from quarantine. But, we're going to, and I asked the girls to bring a couple bios that they've worked on or that they've submitted before. And we were going to pass it to a neighbor or pass them around. And so your neighbor would be able to, edit it or critique it how they thought and then come back, or we could read them aloud. And then, because a lot of times with your bios, having keywords that, when you hear them, when to pose or, do something cute, that's how, and a lot of girls
come to one of these workshops.
I'm telling you, we just have a lot of fun. We just hang out,
Yeah.
And like I said, I don't.
How would they find you, Fanny, if someone is watching this and gets interested and they're around the Michigan area?
Okay.
How would they find your information?
So you can look me up on Facebook. It's the facebook.com/Fanny Bruiser, Bruiser, like Bruiser, 810. And so that's how you will find my Fanny Bruiser profile, my like profile. Give it a like, and then you can, once you start seeing me, like my posts and things, and that way you can stay updated with the information that I put out there. Also, I post in our pinup groups that we have, the Michigan Pinups, the Midwest Dollhouse of Pinups, Pinup Event Connections, And I believe the Mickey Mangles, the Mickey Mangles one, I believe that I post in there also. But I share them frequently that way to, to get the word out. And actually for this one, I had quite a few new girls that were planning on coming, and that's who I wanted to come because, I've seen so many new girls lately.
Yeah.
They have such a good personality and their look is on point, and I just
you're like, I can't wait to get my hands on you.
Yes, let me just tell you this and tell you this and
here.
There you go. There you go. You know what I mean?
I have a question. Let's say somebody sees this because this is what my platform is for. I like to promote people, especially for people that are definitely empowering other women. This is a great thing. If someone is not in the area, are you willing to travel and do workshops? If people can get almost like a Tupperware party, like if people are willing to get a group of girls together, are you willing to come travel?
I have thought about it, and as long as we're on a weekend, I'm at a job now where I have weekends off for sure. So as long as it were a weekend and I had enough girls interested, and if I could have help finding a venue in the area that would fit us. Okay. And because I always like to offer the photographer, and as long as I can work it out with a photographer, a good price range, and so when I do hold these workshops, it covers the cost of the rental of the facility, paying the photographer, and I always have a door prize too. So, and I try to make it makeup, Ulta.
I always need makeup, and it's expensive.
I know. I try to make it just a lot of fun. But yes, I am willing to travel as long as I have some help.
Awesome. Okay. Well, I mean, I don't even know how I would say that this young woman, like I said, I've been talking to her for 2 hours, and it felt like that. So, I mean, we had to take bathroom breaks. That's how long we talked. So, she has a lot of great advice. She has a lot of good information. Kind of like to dabble into the community a little bit. Because I am a baby pinup. I have my mentor, shout out to Alicia. So she has been my mentor out in my area, which is the Chicagoland area. And there's also, we've talked nothing but positive about how everybody's been positive, everybody's been so nice and helpful and loving, but there's always going to be a bad apple amongst the bunch. So the one thing that Fanny and my mentor were telling me is that you do have to be, mindful of the fact that some people are not always going to have your best interest in mind. Even though, everybody so far that I've met has been wonderful, knock on wood. I hope I don't come across the person who's not so nice. But for the people that are in the baby pinup stage, what would you say would be a good thing to keep your eye out for or listen for that doesn't sound that great? Like I have a lot of photographers wanting to take pictures of me now, and I have a lot of people that want to,
Okay.
What are the things that you want to look out for?
Okay, so with photographers, definitely talk to your girls in your area to see who they have worked with before, who they trust. And because like in our area, we have groups, the Detroit area photographers, things like that. And if a photographer approaches us, then we can post in that group and say, has anyone had any experience with this photographer? And it always take someone with you. And unless it is someone, like we have probably 2-3 photographers that I can name right offhand, that we are absolutely comfortable going by ourselves to. But do not just take the word of others until you know yourself. Okay. You can't be too safe nowadays. But you know what I mean? Ask your peers, ask the other girls if, don't be afraid to put their name out there, post on your Facebook, ask them privately, hey, have you worked with this person? Do you know how they are? Do they help you pose? Because some of these photographers don't really help you pose. And that's part of it, is teaching you little tips and tricks to make you feel better, to make you feel better about yourself and how to take a better photo.
Right.
Someone needs to tell you, hey, bring your chin down, look to the left, there it is.
Right.
They need to like build you up a little bit and things.
Yeah.
And if anyone ever tries to push your boundaries, do not let them. And because there are people, there's just snakes out there, and they want to get you naked, and you don't have to do that.
Yeah.
I think part of pinup is I think there's a very tasteful pinup that is the boudoir, but I do not feel that pinup should be overly nude. I think
It should be like the seduction and the mystery and like the basically the tease. That's what a pinup was. She was a tease. She was not a Playboy centerfold. She was a tease.
Absolutely. We can be fully clothed and exude so much sexiness.
Yes. Girl, the sexiest thing I put on is a blazer and a pencil skirt. Mm-hmm. And I am fully covered from head to toe. But in that outfit, baby, I feel sexier than anything.
Exactly. And so that's as far as photographers. But as far as people to stay away from, I mean, same thing. If you trust your gut, if you have heard something about someone, go to a trusted source that will give you a non-biased opinion. Right. And they will tell it to you straight. Because you don't want to get wrapped up with the wrong people. And if you do get wrapped up with the wrong people, or you do say the wrong things, and I don't know, I know that I, myself included, but because I've stayed away from the drama and I've tried to keep my girls safe, I know I've been talked bad about, and that's fine, but anyone that knows me knows my character, and they know my ultimate, goal is to keep myself safe and my girls safe. So just trust your gut. If you meet someone and they're not quite sitting right with you, or like I said, ask a friend. Ask a friend.
All right. Well, that is such great advice. I appreciate it. I'm taking it all in too, because like I said, this is all kind of new to me, and it's kind of scary. This world, because it's so much fun, and you can get easily wrapped up into how much fun it is. But you don't realize that you can get yourself into some sticky situations. So definitely have fun. Definitely explore your beauty, your sexuality, your newfound confidence.
Embrace your curves.
Yes, embrace your curves. But at the same time, be safe. And be aware of your surroundings, be aware of what's going on. Sometimes if you hear people talking, don't be so but drop that ear in there and kind of listen.
Yeah, keep an ear, but keep an open mind, and make your own decisions. If you feel you need a little bit more information on someone, then get it.
Yeah. Yep. I always say open ear, closed mouth.
I like that.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep. So I'm going to let you now wrap up this segment. This is really about your Fanny Bruiser. And how would you give your pearls of wisdom when it comes to this?
Oh, I didn't write this one down.
Surprise!
Surprise! Gosh, I mean, take your time to explore different looks, different genres. Do your research. I always tell the girls, do your research. It pays off. And work on your confidence. It is key. When you step out there, even in photos, you can see confidence in photos. When you step on stage, that's your stage. You own it.
Yeah. I love it. I own it. Own that stage.
That's right.
Like she said, when she steps on stage, when I say she owned it, I saw 24 other women introduce themselves that day on February 29th, 2020. And the one I remembered out of everybody, out of 24 girls, was Fanny Bruiser. And it was because when you stepped out there, You owned it, you said it, and it was yours. And there was
And
no,
I was just having fun.
yeah.
I was just
And
having
that's
fun.
what it is. It's fun. It's just letting yourself be you and not worried about what anybody else says. And that is amazing. So
Yeah.
thank you
Yeah.
so much, Fanny, for coming on my show. I
Oh,
do
thank you for having
appreciate
me.
it. Oh, you're so very welcome. I'm definitely going to encourage other women to join your workshops when they ask me, because I've had a lot of people ask me now about, what did I do to get into it, and like what, and all these questions, and I'm like, I have no idea. So I'm going to be
I
pushing
know,
some
and
people
it's
towards
so
you.
hard. It's so hard to just have a conversation over Messenger. You know what I mean? So that's why
Yeah,
I started holding these workshops.
yeah,
Because it's easier for us to just hang out and you guys just to ask questions. And if I don't have an answer, generally one of the other girls does.
yeah.
And we've got nothing but advice to give and support and and just love,
Well,
love and laughter.
I love you personally. You have you've given me so much information today, and you've given me so many laughs. Like my cheeks are actually like kind of sore from smiling and like laughing. So honestly,
Just peas in a pod.
I can't wait to come back to Michigan. I'm telling you, you better turn up.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Or
That's
if everything goes well, then and if I get accepted to Motorbot, then we'll be down there because we
all
had a
right.
blast.
All right. I'm gonna hold you to that. Okay. All right. All right, everybody, thank you for joining Shell's Pros of Wisdom. I hope that your conversation with Fanny Bruiser today gave you a little insight on the pinup world and another woman who has lived through abuse and has gone through her struggle and raised her babies and has now turned around and found new love and a person who supports her 110%, who allows her to be Fanny Bruiser and Stephanie all at once. And that's a beautiful thing. And just when you ladies feel like you have nothing else to live for or going for you, trust and believe there is a light at the end of the tunnel. So just keep
And
on
there's
trusting.
someone else that felt exactly the same.
Exactly. All right. Bye, you guys. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, click, 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 click. Bye.